pull up a chair. I'm going to be in the nursery today. Okay. I hope everybody's doing good. All right. I had to meet early today because I've got somewhere to be at 2 o'clock. And I wanted to read to y'all. I found 2 books. I have Veggie Tales. I love Veggie Tales. And I found this very veggie 5-minute story. So it's a whole bunch of stories in this one book. And I found one today that's called the Chicken Noodle Super Bowl. Fun stuff. All right. And then I have a book. It's called Letters to God. And they actually have, I think, some videos or a movie on this particular book. So I want to start with Letters to God, and I want to read to you about who the book was written about, all right, and how it originated. So it says, Tyler Dowdy was born in Nashville, Tennessee, September 23rd, 1995. He was a loving and much-loved son, brother, and friend with a huge heart for God. He excelled at soccer, but enjoyed all sports, outdoor activities, and games. Tyler prided himself in academics and was involved in Cub Scouts and Awana. So we have Awana here at Calvary. He wanted to be a carpenter like his father when he grew up. Do you remember who else was a carpenter? That's right. Jesus learned from his dad, Joseph, his earthly dad. All right, so until he saw a professional soccer player, Landon Donovan, on the cover of a sports magazine and learned that he could get paid to play soccer. Who likes to play soccer? Me. I loved playing soccer. It was my favorite sport when I was in school. And so that was Tyler's true love. In January 2003, Tyler was diagnosed with, I think I'm saying this correctly, but I could be wrong, medulloblastoma, a rare childhood brain tumor. He bravely underwent treatment and surgery to remove the tumor, but after a short remission, that means after he got well, he passed away on March 7th, 2005. While boxing things up from his room more than 2 years after Tyler's death, his dad, Patrick, found letters that his son had written to God while he was ill, while he was sick. Tyler's story and those very special letters became the inspiration for the film Letters to God. Tyler is greatly missed, but his legacy lives on through this story about childlike faith and trust in God. And so that's a picture of Tyler. And so let me read this book to you. It's called Letters to God. This morning I woke up excited. My fishing trip with Grandpa was only 2 days away. I had to find my special compass that he gave me. It helps us find the hidden lake where we catch the big fish. So I looked and looked, but I couldn't find it. You need to clean your room or no trip this weekend, Mom said, but I had to find my compass. Do you know what a compass is? It's a little tool that tells you whether you're going north, south, east, or west. Dad always says that if I have a problem, I should talk to God about it. Hey God, can you please help me find my compass? I waited and then I looked some more and I still couldn't find it. I thought maybe God didn't hear me, so I decided to write him a letter. Everyone likes to get mail. Do you like to get mail? It said, this is his letter. Dear God, I need your help. I have to find my special compass that Grandpa gave me. That's my little brother. He keeps grabbing my pencil, and maybe after you help me find my compass, you can make him stop being a pest. Thanks. Love, Tyler. And then I put the letter in an envelope. I didn't have God's address, but I figured the mailman would know it. See what his little brother scribbled on that page? Do any of you have a little brother or sister that scribbles on your work? On my way to the mailbox, I saw Mrs. Green looking up in her tree. Patches was stuck and couldn't come down. And that's the cat. I told her she should write a letter to God and ask for help. That's a very good idea, she said. I had another idea. I opened my envelope and asked God to help Patches for Mrs. Green. And down here he added something for a prayer for Mrs. Green. It said, P.S. One more thing, God. Please help Patches get down from the tree. He looks really scared. Down the street, I saw my best friend Sam. She seemed sad. My dad lost his job, she said. We might have to move. I told her maybe God could help and that she should write him a letter. Since I was on my way to drop off my letter, I opened it again and added a note for Sam. And I'll read that letter to you once you look at the pictures. It says, Hi God, or actually it says PSS. Hi God, it's me again. Please help Sam's dad remember where he left his job. Thanks. I finally made it to the mailbox. Just before I put the letter inside, I saw a big rainbow across the sky. I think God put that there just for me. Guess what he does? He opens his letter up again. This is what he adds to his letter. P.S.S.S. Thank you for all the pretty things you give us to look at, like that rainbow. And then here he is, putting it in the mailbox. On my way home, I saw Sam kicking a soccer ball with her dad. They were laughing and having fun. And Mrs. Green was hugging Patches. So there's 2 answers to prayers. When I got home, I still had to clean my room, so I cleaned, and guess what I found? My compass. I was so happy I decided to write God another letter. Dear God, I guess if I had listened to my mom and cleaned my room, I would have found my compass earlier. But then I wouldn't have been able to write you about Mrs. Green and Sam. Thank you for letting me find my compass and for Sam getting to spend time with her dad and for helping Patches out of the tree. And about my little brother, I guess some things take more time. Love, Tyler. P.S. I think I'll write again tomorrow. See where his little brother scribbled? I hope you enjoyed that. I thought that was super sweet and super special since we found out that Tyler passed away from a tumor, and that through this book that he can be remembered. All right, so, oh, look at my bookmark. This is a picture of fasting, our sponsored child. So that's what my little bookmark. All right, so are you ready for Veggie Tales? This is called the Chicken Noodle Super Bowl. One cold morning, A Viking ship sailed up to everyone's favorite food place, Barbarian Burger. "Welcome to Barbarian Burger. May I take your order?" asked a voice over the sail-through speaker. Everyone in the boat started yelling out orders at the same time. "One at a time," Olaf shouted. No one would wait his turn. Let's see if you can see the picture. Good. Yep. And then suddenly another ship rammed into the Viking boat, almost knocking everyone down. The ship belonged to the famous cheese packers, a group of wild gourds from Wisconsin. They were delivering Gouda, I think I said that right, cheese, to Finland. As the sailors struggled to their feet, the head cheese asked, "Mind if we cut in line?" "We were here first," declared Olaf. "Too bad, we're going," the cheese packer shouted. The cheese packers swarmed onto the Viking ship. They all started pushing and shoving, trying to order their food first, and just when things couldn't get any worse. They weren't being very patient, were they? A huge Wisconsin gourd leaped onto the Viking boat and smashed right through the bottom of the ship. "Oops," said the gourd. The ship began to sink. "Quick, everyone onto the cheese packer ship," Olaf shouted to his men. So everyone leaped onto the cheese packer ship, including the huge gourd. That's a big gourd, isn't it? "Oops," said the gourd as the cheese packer ship began to sink. The Vikings and cheese packers swam to shore. They thought it couldn't get any worse until they all tried to squeeze through the front door of Barbarian Burger at the same time. The Vikings and cheese packers smashed open the door and stormed the counter. The worker at the register froze in pure terror. He was super scared and intimidated by all those veggies coming in the door. Loud, the smallest Viking, hopped onto the counter. "Hold it!" he cried. The Vikings and cheese packers came to a screeching halt. "We have to be patient," Lyle said. "That means waiting your turn. It's better than fighting, and God tells us that being patient brings peace." "But does it bring food?" shouted Bjorn. "We want food! We want food!" the warriors chanted. Lyle whispered to the worker, "How long for the burgers?" "There's a problem," the worker whispered back. "George the hamburger flipper went home sick." The chanting's still going on. "We want food! We want food!" George the hamburger flipper was sick? This was terrible news. If Lyle couldn't get these warriors to wait for a meal, they were going to tear the place apart. "Be patient," Lyle pleaded. He whispered to the worker, "Is there anything you can give us?" The worker muttered. I can make a pretty good bowl of chicken noodle soup." "That's it!" exclaimed Lyle. He turned back to the cheese packers and Vikings. "George the hamburger flipper went home sick, but we're going to get the best chicken noodle soup in the land." "What are we supposed to do while we wait?" shouted Eric. Lyle had to think of something, and fast. The Vikings were already beginning to fight over the mustard packets. Suddenly, Lyle had an idea that would change food history forever. I see some coming on. Let me see, and I'll finish this. I don't know. Can't read who's here. All right, so I'm going to keep on reading. I'm glad y'all are watching. I'll wave at you. Okay. "We can play a game," Lyle announced. He grabbed the only chunk of cheese that hadn't sunk with the ship. "I call the game Food Ball." Thinking fast, Lyle told them the goal of the game was to take turns. Each team takes turns running with the food ball. He said the Cheese Packers get 4 tries to carry the food ball across the line. The Vikings can tackle them to stop them from scoring. Then the Vikings get 4 tries to score while the Cheese Packers try to stop them. This would work out great. Warriors love tackling. Does that sound like any sport that you know of? All right, so what do we get if we win? Asked Bjorn. Lyle hopped back onto the counter and held a golden soup bowl up high. The winning team gets this, he declared, the Chicken Noodle Super Bowl. Ooh, cried both teams. So it's going to be kind of like the game football. Lyle marched back and forth. Sure, he shouted, waiting isn't easy. George the hamburger flipper is at home sick, and you're hungry. But when the waiting gets tough, the tough get waiting. So give it all you've got. Get out there and play one for the flipper. With a great shout, everyone charged outside onto the frozen field, and they played the very first food ball game in history. The Vikings won the game by a score of 42-39, but more importantly, both teams found out that the game was a lot of fun when the teams took turns. In fact, if the teams didn't wait their turn, the game wouldn't work at all. When the food finally arrived, a surprising thing happened. Even though the Vikings and Cheese Packers were super hungry, everyone waited patiently in line for the chicken noodle soup, and they were all very polite. After you, Eric said to Big Gourd. No, you first, said the Gourd with a grin. Yes, some amazing things happened that day. Olaf, the star of the game, got to have his picture on a cereal box. Sven learned it was fun to do a little dance whenever he scored. And Otter led everyone in a very special fight song. Said, cheer, cheer, we're glad that you came. We've got the cheese ball. Let's play the game. The other team is late. That's quite okay because we learned to wait. But the most amazing thing of all was that a bunch of wild warriors learned that being patient was more fun than bickering. Now that's something to cheer about. So even though their circumstances weren't great, some good things came out of it. All right. So what do you think about that story? Is it hard to be patient? Yeah, it is. Especially if we're hungry or if we're at a stoplight and we're trying to get somewhere at a certain time. It's hard to be patient, but that's what God wants us to do. It's a fruit of the Spirit. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you next week. Let's go to the Lord in prayer, and I'll see you next time. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this time here, Lord. A time to read stories, Lord, about a little boy and the letters that he wrote to you, and about the VeggieTales and how you can, patience is a good thing for us to do, to know how to do, to be patient. I pray, Lord, that you will watch over us as we go throughout this day. I pray that you bless everyone that's able to watch this video. And I pray all this in your heavenly name. Amen. Bye.